Hello, Sophie Blackall here, illustrator of the Ivy and Bean series and Finding Winnie, and author and illustrator of Hello Lighthouse, and I am so excited to share with you my new picture book, which is called If You Come to Earth. My very first picture book, Ruby's Wish, was with Chronicle, and I've done 45 books in between, and a box of advance copies of If You Come to Earth just landed on my doorstep. So many hands went into making this book, and it took more than 5 years and definitely more than a village, and it feels like some kind of miracle to be holding this book in my hands. The idea came on a mountaintop in Bhutan. I was working with Save the Children and had zigzagged up a path to a tiny 2-room school with 10 students. We couldn't understand a word each other said, but the children drew pictures for me and shared their lunch, and I showed them some books. I've made books about boars and babies and bears and lighthouses, but what I really wanted in that moment was a book that would bring us together, a book about their home and mine. If You Come to Earth is a book about a kid writing a letter to a visitor from outer space explaining the world. If you come to Earth, here's what you need to know: where our planet sits in the solar system, the fact that it's made of land and water, mountains and plains, cities and towns, that the people who live here come in all shapes and sizes, and that we love each other, that we get cold and hungry, that we're always learning, always busy, and that we are not alone, that we share the planet with creatures in the sea and animals on the land and birds in the sky, that we make music and art and mistakes, that we tell stories in many languages. Working with UNICEF and Save the Children, meeting children all around the world, I said I would try to make a book about all of us and the planet we share. I pulled up a chair in a 2nd grade class at the Brooklyn New School every Monday for 6 weeks, and my 23 new best friends helped me try to figure out how to explain the world to a visitor from outer space. In school visits around the country, we imagine what those visitors might look like. I said maybe those creations might just find their way into the book. I kept my promise. And for alien enthusiasts, there's a surprise under the case cover. It took a while to find my narrator, but when I met the real Quinn, I had no doubts. And when I talked about this book in progress and read the last line in school visits, "If you come to Earth, you can stay in my room, love, Quinn." There was almost always a Quinn in the school, and sometimes it was a girl and sometimes a boy. And as the parent of a gender-fluid child, I suddenly thought it would be nice to avoid gendering the child in the book. So it's just Quinn. If you come to Earth right now, you might find us 6 feet apart or facing screens. But if you look closely, you'll see teachers and librarians, parents and caregivers, booksellers and publishers, authors and illustrators, all working together to help our children and each other through this pandemic the best way we know how, with stories. Thank you to everyone who helped me make this book, especially my editor Victoria Rock and designer Sarah Gillingham, and everyone at Chronicle, and all the early readers and the fact checkers and everyone I met who lent their faces and their stories. The next time I see you, I hope we are not only on the same planet but also in the same room. Won't that be nice? Until then, I wish you safe passage. Farewell. Also, I apologize for all the quacking in the background. It's these guys. What can I say?